Welcome back to part 3 of our live training session here. We're going to be taking a look in this tutorial at setting up our idle control and getting our engine checked with a timing light so that the trigger offset or the sync between our Infinity and our engine is going to be correct. So the spark timing is going to be accurate as well as our injection timing. We have a lot of things to discuss in this tutorial, so let's jump in so we can check this out. Welcome back to our live training session here. We're going to be taking a look in this video, getting the engine to fire up and run and dial in our idle. We're also going to be checking our trigger sync between our Infinity and our engine, verifying with a timing light that the timing as we command it from the Infinity is going to match what we have at the engine. So we have a lot of things to cover and unpack here. The very first thing we're going to do is jump in and upload the session file that we've built in our previous 2 tutorials. So we've built our base session file to get our process started. Now I am connected to the Infinity. We can see right here, we have the laptop screen. It's streaming some data in here. I have not yet uploaded this session file. So we're gonna jump in and we're gonna go ahead and take care of that first thing. Then we're gonna go through basic sensor check, making sure all the sensors and the basic details are in order before we fire off our engine and begin our calibration process. So let's jump in right now and take a look at uploading a session file that we've created, and then we'll move on to that sensor check, and then we'll finally move on to firing up the engine and going through setting up the idle control and sorting out fuel and spark timing in idle conditions. All right, let's take a look here. So I'm going to go up into the file option and then go in here into the import calibration data. This is going to be importing the session file into the Infinity that we've created in the offline mode. Let me go ahead and do that right now. This is going to prompt me to find that specific folder that we've saved our file into. So I need to go up into my directory here, and I need to go into the sessions and then the base sessions and then 96.5. Now in here, I've saved my project as EP3 ITB K24. So that's the specific folder that I've saved my file into. Now we have the original file that we've saved just as a basis, so we don't have to go back into the directory and find the original equivalent file from AEM for our plug-and-play K-series application. The base cal is what we've created, and that's what I want to import here into my Infinity. So I'm going to go ahead and select this and just click open and give this about 20 seconds, 30 seconds or so. We can see right now at the top it's going to give us a status as to what it's doing in terms of importing. So we'll have to just be patient and let that import. So give this, again, 20-30 seconds should be good, and then we should find that everything has properly imported. Now, once it's imported, what I like to do is just take a look at a couple different tables and verify that the file is actually imported into the Infinity. Even though it showed that it's imported the data, sometimes there's an issue there. We can see right now it's showing not connected at the top. Let me go ahead and do a key on, key off, just see if I can get it to reconnect here real quick and establish communications again. Sometimes this is an issue as well after we do a file upload. We have to go ahead and do a key cycle. There we go. We can see it's going to connect now. Now, the file should have been uploaded. If we go in here and take a look at our VE tuning table here, we know we've changed our calibration strategy to an alpha N, and throttle position is what we have feeding our load input to our VE table. We can also see that here in VE table 2. So we can verify, at least just taking a look at our table that we've built in that base map tutorial, so the last 2 tutorials, this is definitely the file. We've imported everything. So now we're ready to do our basic sensor check. So let's go through and take a look at the very first thing. It's super important for this particular setup we have here, and that's going to be calibrating our throttle position sensor. We can take a look right now. The throttle is showing here 0 when I'm off the throttle, and if I go all the way on the throttle, it shows I'm only going up to 95%. Now, what I may be missing here, if I give it some throttle, it's actually not picking up the first bit of travel of my foot movement, which is really important. So right now I'm probably giving it about 5% throttle, and it just starts to pick up right there. So the minimum and maximum positions aren't known properly from the Infinity. Now, this normally would create some problems for us, especially some drivability problems, but in this case, it's going to create major problems because we're an alpha N strategy. So just as we always like to check, the map sensor is calibrated right. Now I'm at sea level, and it's just showing approximately 0 PSI, key on engine off. At sea level, that's exactly what it should be reading, so the map sensor looks good. Normally, this is going to be a critical factor in making sure that the map sensor is correct, so that the load input to our table here is correct to the VE calculations, but in this case, throttle position is now used. So throttle position is actually just as important, if not more important, in this alpha N strategy to make sure that this is calibrated right. So let's go ahead and do a quick calibration on the throttle position sensor. If we go up here to Wizards, jump into Setup Wizard, and we go in here to our basic sensors. Oh, it's going to be found here under our set throttle range. Now we have our minimum and maximum volt. So what we'll do here is just set TPS close volt. So when I'm off the throttle, I'll just click this, give it a second, it should sample that out, and we should find out what that voltage is going to be. And then we'll go ahead and give it some throttle here and say set TPS open volts, and we should find it's going to calibrate that. Now it's giving me an error here. Minimum volts below 0.03 volt may prevent ECU from detecting sensor faults. Please adjust sensor orientation if possible. Now, in my situation, I've already taken the sensor in its housing boss that's on the Kinsler ITBs, and I've rotated it all the way the one way to give me maximum voltage when it's trying to read it. So we can see here the minimum volt is super low coming out of that sensor. We can actually see here the actual voltage here is 0.16. Let's go close here. Let's just see if it's picking up that throttle movement. And if I go here and give it some throttle, it is in fact picking that up. So that's all I really care about. I want to make sure again that that throttle position is picking up the actual movement of my throttle. No, it's showing a negative value here. We could go back in and try to do that real quick again. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.